I'm Rebekah Tweed. I'm the program director at All Tech is Human. So that means I head up initiatives like the Responsible Technology Job Board, which I've been curating since September of 2020. And this features roles that are focused on reducing the harms of technology, diversifying the tech pipeline, and ensuring that technology is aligned with the public interest. So I also run our mentorship pilot program, which has been underway this fall, and our first full-scale mentorship program, which we will be kicking off in mid-January of 2022. I also have the pleasure of heading up the University Ambassadors Program. And that came from a fairly casual idea that David Polgar had, wanted to see who within our larger community wanted a leadership role as a liaison or a point person for the responsible technology movement on their own campus. So this started with just one social media call out for interest. And ever since then, the enthusiasm has been really fantastic. We do now have representatives from over 50 universities worldwide. So this began as a way to bring in new voices into the space, to compare notes, to find out what people are experiencing on their own campuses. But as ambassadors have shared their experiences and their perspectives, it's become very clear there is a real need for building community and uniting voices within the university setting. So across different universities, of course, but also connecting the various voices within universities across disciplines. So we've learned a lot from these students already. One main point of commonality that comes up a lot is that many students feel very siloed in their discrete areas of study. They know that other people are doing very similar work, even on their own campuses, but struggle to find ways to collaborate, to build on the work that each other are doing. So for instance, people want to know which professors are allied in these efforts. They want to know which alumni might have insights and experiences to share. There are many academic initiatives that are being undertaken at this point, and so many interested students and engaged faculty. There are a growing number of degree programs that are multidisciplinary, and also a growing number of research institutes based within universities that study these very issues. But it can feel like a lot of isolated individuals doing this work. So one phrase that we've heard a few times is, it can feel like you're fumbling in the dark. So connecting dots haphazardly to find one another, but these connections are being forged one at a time. So we really hope through this program, we can facilitate connections more methodically from the ground up, starting with students and mapping areas of interest, potential collaborators, and resources. So because this university segment of the responsible tech ecosystem isn't a monolith, and because the field is so multidisciplinary, it's not unusual for various faculty members within the same university to have no relationship with one another, possibly to not even know the other exists. Sometimes they're just spread out across the university. Maybe one's in the law school, someone else is in the I school, someone's doing computer science, someone else in the School of Business, someone else in doing science, tech, and society, or digital humanities. So just because people are under the umbrella of responsible tech or public interest technology, all trying to solve the same basic problems, that doesn't mean they'll ever compare notes, even at the same university. So this is one reason that we are working to connect people through the University Ambassadors Program. We're developing point persons among the student bodies to start forging these connections and community from the grassroots. We found there are excellent organizations working to bridge these entities from the tops of institutions, and we're really seeing a need to try to meet that challenge from the other side as well. So today already we've heard from a few of our university ambassadors, so I just want to point out their names. We heard from Allison Macy Banzan at the University of Central Florida, who's getting a PhD in education within the learning sciences track, as well as Jasmine Zhang, the University of Toronto, getting a Bachelor of Science in Engineering Science with a major in Machine Intelligence. We also got to hear from Kaylin Mattis at George Mason University, studying conflict analysis and resolution while interning with the Counterterrorism Group, and Nayun Ayoum at Tufts University, studying sociology and economics, and the co-founder of the Lantern think tank. Later today, we're going to hear from Joanne Kim, who's studying public policy on a pre-law track at Duke University, who's also the co-lead of Ethical Tech, which is a student-led club on campus. So the ambassadors are studying many disciplines, which is representative of the field at large. So we have people studying computer science, data science, psychology, sociology, political science, communications, English, UX design, science, tech, and society. We have MBAs and MPPs and JDs. We also have students pursuing master's degrees in human rights and technology, in responsibility in science, engineering, and technology, and in global affairs, specializing in responsible innovation and tech policy. So you can find each of these ambassadors profiled on our website. You can find that at responsibletechguide.com and search for the University Ambassadors Program. I want to highlight a few of their reasons for getting involved in the program. Monica Tsang at the University of Waterloo says, I hope to gather AI ethics resources for fellow students to discuss as food for thought and make ethics an open dialogue, not strict directives from leadership. Currently, there are modules of AI ethics at school that are prescriptive to students. Many students want to explore ethics, but current processes are bureaucratic and discouraging. I hope to gather resources for students at my school to make AI ethics an open-ended and interesting conversation. We've also heard from Pohan Tharchu at the University of Toronto, and she says, in 2018, Facebook was implicated by UN human rights investigators for enabling the Rohingya genocide. As a Burmese national, I believe precautions should be taken and assessments should have been done before entering countries with a strong history of conflict, because technology can cause irreparable damage. As a result, I hope to contribute my policy experience and knowledge to create responsible and ethical products that are aligned with society's goals. And one final learning from Daniel Torquato Fortes at University College London says, in Brazil, I used to work as a digital transformation strategist for Petrobras, our national oil and gas company. As a digital professional, I started to realize that there's a myth regarding our technological future, that there will be wealth, abundance, and prosperity, but we are not really moving this way. So I decided to study foresight to think critically about the long-term futures and allow us to make better decisions today when it comes to digital technologies. This is completely intertwined with the responsible tech community, which has been a joy to discover and join. So we've heard from students as well about some of their pain points. We've heard that the biggest challenge in getting involved is just taking that first step, overcoming the paralysis that can result from feeling so overwhelmed. Someone else has let us know that a more succinct and digestible handbook on how to get involved with these initiatives and learn more about them will help the most. So these insights show that even though we at All Tech is Human have created the Responsible Tech Guide that maps a broad section of the ecosystem, there's a need for greater, more granular ecosystem mapping that is specific to the university setting. So the university's involved, the students, the faculty, the student-run clubs, research institutes, and importantly, the relevant degree programs. So we've also heard a pain point around a lack of formal education and training programs. So that suggests that we very much need to be mapping out these formal training programs that do exist, because the list grows all the time and it can be very hard to keep up and to know what's available. So one final pain point we've heard is that finding a responsible tech internship program at a major company is very difficult. So it's my job to find these roles and add them to our responsible tech job board. And it is true, there are far fewer internships at big tech companies than there are qualified, eager students to fill these roles. So I do struggle to find enough entry-level roles and internships within the tech industry for the large number of interested candidates who reach out. There are a rapidly growing number, but that supply and demand are not yet equal. So industry still primarily wants senior talent, but the field only grows if entry-level talent can get in and get this requisite experience to take on more senior roles. So while I do encourage our community to try to apply for these internships, you might be the one to land these roles. Another option is to try to get that early responsible tech experience outside of a major tech company. I encourage people to look to responsible tech startups, to look to NGOs, And maybe most importantly, to look to the public sector. There's a very huge need for civic-minded technologists within the government, and this gives an excellent base for experience. So this part of the field has a lot of institutional support, and it's growing even more rapidly than industry. And then one final suggestion I have is to look to more traditional industry roles that will give some experience before pivoting to more of a responsible tech-centric role. So finally, moving forward, the University Ambassador, the program, our first major project coming up, now that we've kind of gotten a sense of what the most pressing needs are, what people are experiencing on their campuses, will be to create a resource for greater ecosystem mapping within the university setting. So who are these leaders and point persons? Our university ambassadors. What are the student-run clubs? What are the relevant areas of study at each university that's represented in our program? Who are the faculty that are teaching and researching, and what research projects are they undertaking? We also envision future initiatives that create community around shared experiences like meetups and workshops and hackathons. And there are other potential plans in the works as the program develops. But right now, our primary focus has been to facilitate the infrastructure for student-led community with a web of point persons and contacts across universities, to initiate conversations cross-collaboratively within universities, and to create a resource that sheds light on the complexities of the entire responsible tech university ecosystem. So we're really proud of the university ambassadors that make up our program right now. We're excited about big things to come. And if you would like to join, please reach out to me. You can find me over email, rebecca@alltechishuman.org, which I'll put in the chat, and also check our website for more information. Thank you.